Hello, welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. On today's episode, I am going to show you what my pen pal and journal mail look like for Patreon for the month of June. If you are interested in all things vintage library, then this will be a really fun video for you. I am passionate about books and upcycling and all things library, so this was a really fun month for me. And so I just wanted to share it with you. And if you had any questions about Patreon or how a subscription to that works or becoming a member, feel free to ask in the questions below. I will link my Patreon, and all of the different tiers will be available to you once you click on that link, and that's all in the description box. So let me just show you. The first tier is actually my postcard tier, and these are the postcards that I sent out for the month of June. They're just very sort of vintage style, and I love that about them. The next tier was the pen pal tier. They come in this vintage envelope, and then inside that vintage envelope is a handmade envelope by me, made from a vintage book page. I used some of that age tape. I have that tutorial over on my TikTok if you were interested. There's also some vintage stamps, and I put a label. Oops. And inside, I think that's everything. Inside is my little note about this month, a vintage card catalog from the library, some ephemera, a vintage author's playing card, a little dictionary bit of ephemera. There were some library themed stickers, more ephemera to use in your journal. This printable of a vintage library card, which I thought was really cool. Almost everyone in my Patreon got one of these this month. And then I also made these bookmarks that I upcycled from tea bags. That's a Tim Holtz image on the front, and then a vintage book page on the back. You can stick these right into your book. This could even hang out. So it makes a really neat little bookmark. So all of that was a part of the pen pal tier for the month of June, and you could also reuse that envelope. So I thought that was really cool. The next tier is the zine tier, and I had a lot of fun creating these zines. I have a whole little video, I believe, on most of my channels, so I'll go through this quickly, but it is all handmade. You could either use it as an insert in your personal journal, or you could even use it as a little standalone journal. And when I open it up, I'll show you, but that's just a little pocket on the front. There's a whole little wax paper bag pocket inside, and there's also little bits of ephemera in there and a label. There are some pages you can create on, or you could even just take those out and use them in your journaling process. That's really fun. A sticker printable. I added some other little stickers in the corner here. And that was for my zine tier, and this cute little band that goes right around it just to keep it all nice and secure. You obviously don't need to continue to use that band. It just comes with it. And there is a vintage style book plate on the back. So that is the zine this month with my From the Library of the Thrifty Day stamp. This is the ephemera pack. I am in love with the ephemera pack. I think there's some really fun stuff. This is just a manila envelope that I coffee stained. This is a tea bag, so you can read and have a cup of tea. I finished the top off with some vintage book pages along with my note, my little letter about June vintage library happy mail. But let me show you what's inside. Let me grab that so that I don't have to open that one up. Each of these ephemera kits came with a vintage book page pack. So there are vintage book pages inside. They also came with that library card that I love so much. And inside this little mini manila envelope, not vanilla, manila, there are some vintage style book plates, and those are stickers. So you could stick them right in your journal or in your books or in journals you're creating, however you want to make that work. It also comes with 2 of those upcycled tea bag bookmarks that I made, Tim Holtz on the front and the vintage book page on the back. They come with a little container filled with vintage buttons. I thought these would be really neat to put on a journal. You could take them out and put them on journal charms, however you want to work that. You are also getting a piece of lace The reason I wanted to send this lace is because it's sort of thematic with the journals that I created. I put this exact lace on all of the spines for the journals that I made this month. So I thought it would be neat to send you some in case you wanted to do the same thing. And I backed those Tim Holtz vintage style photo booth cards in some vintage book pages. And that's actually what I hope I can slip that back up there. Might have to redo it. I'll have to redo that because I have them on there kind of snug. And then I just wrap the lace right around with a little bronze tone pin. So you get lace. Let me put that aside. And that's really neat. You get a mini ephemera pack. There's stickers, there's labels, there's just goodies that you can use inside your journal. And so I thought that was a fun touch. You get 3 of the vintage card catalog library cards, and they are on a brass tone bold pin. And then you also get this little package. I'm going to see if I could do this without ripping it. I don't want to have to waste this. You also get some journal clips. Oh my word. I think I'm going to have to redo this one. Let's see. And they come in this brown bag, but they are on a coffee stained library card. You get a little wooden one. I made those. I distressed them. I stained them, and I added the Tim Holtz words to the top. And then you get a variety of other journal clips as well. And so that's a really neat touch. I tried to keep everything as thematic as possible, journal and library themed. And so I was really happy with how the ephemera kits turned out this month. And I hope you are too. So all of these goodies come inside this pack, and I hope you love that. So that is the ephemera pack. And then moving on to the journals. I mentioned before over on Patreon that many of these books were from my own collection that I've collected for years and years and years. Many were actually headed to the trash or given away for free. I go to a lot of different book sales, and that is where I've collected my books for probably close to 3 decades now. My husband and I have always enjoyed books. It's something that we've always been passionate about, so we've always frequented estate sales, yard sales, book sales, and so we had quite a big collection. So this was a very fun particular collection to put together. So these are just a few of them. I've shown many of them in different videos across my social media platforms. This particular book I've had probably for 2 decades. It was in the free bin at a Friends of the Library bookstore, and I was very excited to be able to upcycle it and give it new life and hopefully send it off to a new home very soon. So these are for my journal tier members. All of these have original book pages from their book inside. Each of them will come with a bookmark that is made from the spine of the book that it is. They have these vintage buttons and bead sort of charms hanging from one end, and I just love the way that came out. All of them have tabs, and I use some very vintage Monopoly pieces and vintage trim and things like that. So they are also all lined with really beautiful paper, and they have a library card in the middle. So as you can see, this one is Pride and Prejudice, and you can either use this in your journal or you can take it out and use it as a bookmark. But I thought they were a really neat touch, and I think it looks really nice hanging on the spine. I did make all of these spines in a very similar way. They have vintage fabric or vintage style fabric. Both of these happen to be vintage. And then I also overlaid them with the lace to give that sort of very vintage effect. So these are all for my journal tiers. I have 3 different journal tiers. One is the journal tier, and you will receive exactly what you see here. I, of course, wrap it really pretty because packaging up journals is one of my favorite things to do. And so you will receive the journal, you will receive the bookmark charm, and that's what you will get in the mail. I also have another tier that is a journal and ephemera pack tier, and that is where you will receive both of these items. So if you have any questions, again, leave them below. I'm trying to make sure I am explaining this as carefully as possible. Look at that cute bookmark. I really enjoyed this one. I've had this book for so long, And I thought, you know what? I just need to use them. I need to stop hoarding so many books. Oh, they all have pockets too. And I just need to use them. So this was the month I decided, you know what? We are going to go all out. This is something I am truly passionate about. And I am going to make these journals something that I would really love to receive or really love to work in. And I'm just going to enjoy the process. And that's exactly what happened. So like I said, I used some of my favorite books. And now what I've done by using some of my favorite books is I've created space in my bookshelves to go out and source more, which is part of the fun. Part of the fun of creating and, you know, doing what you love is being able to source, and I love going and sourcing. So this will be really fun, even though I sent out a lot of my favorite books. Now they will live forever in the hands of my Patreon members, and I can go out and find more, which is very exciting. So yeah, I'm loving them. Please leave any questions below. I hope you love these as well. A few people were asking about a tutorial. Yes, I would love to get a tutorial out, but truthfully, these are just made in the same way that I have made most of my journals here on YouTube, and I have lots of tutorials. So if you check out my how to journal playlist here on YouTube, you will find lots of journal tutorials, and I just modified it to create these. So they are very similar, but I can do an updated one too. Everything's so busy, especially with Patreon when I'm creating all these things all month. I think I'm going to have time. And then I'm telling you that time just gets away with me. I have longer content videos over on Patreon of journal making. So if you wanted those really long, detailed, chatty tutorials, head over to Patreon because that's where you will find those. Oh my gosh, look at how pretty that one is. And all of them are lined too. So that one's really beautiful. And I love the inside of these. So I just wanted to share with you, I had just the best time creating these. So I just wanted to let them live forever here on YouTube before I send them all out. I will make a little short video that I'll post here on YouTube showing you how I wrap these journals, because it's going to be so beautiful and I'm very excited. I actually worked all day yesterday on the packaging and that was really fun for me. So I will definitely show you. I just don't have one wrapped yet, so I will wait. So if you have any questions, leave them below. I am opening up new spaces for Patreon this month, and the theme this month, a drum roll please, is Adventure is Out There, and it will be all things vintage travel, vintage road trip with a little bit of Pixar up thrown into the mix. And so I can't wait to share that with you. And I already shared it on Patreon, but I will let you all know now that the journals for the month of July are going to be travel journals as well. So if you were looking to get your hands on one of my travel journals, I know those sell out really quick every time I post them. Your opportunity to get one will be on Patreon this month, and I already sneak peeked about 15 of them that I already have made, but you do need to join Patreon to see those in that sneak peek. So again, Adventure is Out There is the theme for July. The journals will be travel journals, and I cannot wait to show you the ephemera packs because they are ridiculous cute. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked what you see. Check out my Patreon by tapping the link below. And thank you to all my Patreon members that joined me in June. I appreciate all of you. Have a really good one, guys. Bye.